Oh, oh, oh. Sorry I was late, Tom. Sorry I was late. I was not pooping, Tom. Sorry I was late. Man, dude. Sorry about the Packers. That was a brutal loss.
It was tough. It was tough. Cried myself to sleep last night. Bears' future looks extremely bright. It was, wearing all black for the Packers season funeral. Tough loss.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a tough offseason.
I'm glad you're here today. A lot of people want me to uplift you. I don't know why they're looking at me to bring up your spirits, but I'm going to do that today, Tom.
I appreciate it. And, we're back to the, we're not kings of the North and the other teams in the North have won the division. All have won the division more recently than us. And it's a long road ahead, to say the least.
Yeah. This is going to be a good show. Tom Grossi.
Baby, we here.
We steer.
You in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna, and this is GPS. Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Woo. Yeah, it was, as I just said, that was a tough one, man. That was a quick wardrobe change, but I wanted to feel like I needed to represent my team a little bit.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get the Packers. I need to uplift my own spirits. I appreciate, you attempting to do that, but
yeah,
it's got to come from within.
It does.
Yeah.
So many people are like, hey, have you consoled Tom? Did you check in on Tom? I was like, no.
Someone goes, has Brandon reached out to you? I was like, no.
Yeah. First of all, I'm like, nobody died. His football team lost. But also, dude, when my team loses that way, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want anybody calling me. I don't want to answer group texts.
Nope.
I don't want to talk to anybody. And I'm like, I'm going to talk to him Monday. I'm like, I approach it the way I want to be handled, and that's just leave me alone until I can feel normal again. I don't know if that's the right. Would you prefer I call you after a tragic loss and be like, Tom, are you okay?
No.
Okay, good.
The amount of texts I got like that night, and I was just like, I haven't even responded to them. Like I got a litany of texts on Saturday. I was like, nope. I got a bunch of DMs. Nope. I'm just like, I am just going to put my head down, fight through the tears, stream the rest of the playoff games, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So it's just, work through the trauma, and that's been the motto. So
I want to be a good friend, obviously, but I'm just like, dude, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, yeah, I know it sucks. I'll be okay.
Yeah, like what do we get?
Also, it's a football game. Like we're grown
tough one, man. Yeah, it is. Yep, that tough loss. Yeah, it was a tough loss. Had him. Yep. No, we did.
Like, what am I going to say to you? I don't know. It's so pathetic too. Like how sad it makes us as adults when our football team doesn't score enough points in a playoff game.
There's things that put that into perspective, right? That it's just like, wow, okay, but damn, how lucky are we that we get to really invest ourselves into this, and this be like, oh man, this is gonna ruin my whole day. This is gonna ruin my whole night. Yeah, that's what it is. So that's it.
A football result.
Just grateful to be feeling alive.
Yeah, it was a crazy weekend though. Like
it's what the title is, man. I mean, obviously the game last night, which was really close for a while, and like I don't know how you feel about it. I thought it was a really good defensive game. It was two good defenses going up against two not good offensive lines. It was just the Chargers one was significantly worse. But they was 6 sacks and 5 sacks. Herbert and Maye were right behind each other in the season for most sacks. And it was an excellent weekend of football, unless you were a Packers.
Yeah. I would say we basically got one half of lopsided football in 5 games, which is pretty insane. And the Panthers did not get blown out. They made that game awesome. So your big concern right there, box checked. Great game.
Yeah.
And Packers-Bears was incredible. The results for Packers fans, atrocious, but that was the best game of the week. Then Bills-Jags delivered as well. Like that game was excellent in the morning. Not necessarily like the best game, but just a competitive matchup. And then Eagles-49ers, ugly, but it was, it was a 1-score game at the end. So like to have that many 1-score games, it like literally when you put best wild card round ever, my intro for winners and losers was this the best wild card round ever?
Yep. That's
like,
there you go.
That damn good. It was that damn good.
Well, and especially after this season where like it has been so chaotic, parity's at an all-time high, and you are like, all right, are the playoffs going to live up to this? Dude, we're 5 games deep, and yes, like the answer, definitely yes. And it just feels that, you and I were talking about this real quick before we did that intro, was before the 49ers game, all 3 teams that were leading at the 2-minute warning lost.
Yeah.
And you and I spoke about this I think it was right before the playoffs. Maybe it was like a week or 2 before. I forget what show it was. But we were talking about just how many lead changes there's been in the fourth quarter and how many late comebacks. And dude, like they broke the record this weekend with the amount of fourth quarter lead changes in the playoffs. And like it just, a wild weekend of football.
Yeah, it was because I was looking and it was Bills. Wait, hold on. Was it Bills Jags? Yeah, Bills Jags and Rams Panthers. There's 28 points scored in both of those fourth quarters, and each team scored 2 touchdowns. So Jags 2 touchdowns, Bills 2 touchdowns, Rams 2 touchdowns, Panthers 2 touchdowns, and to see like that all happening at the end of games, it made just for wild finishes. Like you couldn't relax. The only time I started to relax and it was like this game's over is when Drake Maye threw that touchdown to Hunter Henry. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
16-3, that might as well be 62-4. You know,
might as well be 21-3.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. But like the Bears, the Bears can score. The Chargers, no, they were not getting into the.
There was no scoring that was happening. No. And even if the Patriots, they had some turnovers in that game, right? Because they had the fumble, they had the interception, and like they were still able to drive down the field. The Patriots defense, we'll talk about it. Dude, getting Williams back on that D-line made a hell of a difference. And I know you're going up against the offensive line of the Chargers, but yeah, that was a phenomenal defensive performance. And if they're going to look like that against a team that doesn't have the Chargers O-line,
they won't look that dominant, but their defense is good. And a big reason, like Milton Williams getting him back was huge. Their run defense took a hit when he was off the field. They got him back for that final game, and he was very good. But their secondary is also excellent. Like Christian Gonzalez he got an incredible corner. It was a head injury, so that means concussion, right? Usually. So like his status will be up in the air this week. But like, their secondary is really good, and I also think the Chargers receivers were just kind of pedestrian as well. Like they couldn't get open.
Herbert had little time
passes, and then a few times when Herbert had him, he's under pressure. He can't get the ball to him. And Herbert is, the narrative. I find the narrative on Justin Herbert today probably one of the more fascinating things because I think people are pretty divided. There's a whole group of people like this dude is a fucking overrated choke artist, can't win the big game, dude sucks, your social media quarterback's back. And then there's people I think who understood what the Chargers went through this season, knew their chances of winning were gonna be slim based on their offensive line, And I just don't know how anybody really can succeed behind that Chargers offensive line. Quite literally one of the worst offensive lines heading into the playoffs, I think, ever, in terms of their grading offensive lines era. And he got the ever-living shit kicked out of him last night. He was their leading rusher, sacked 6 times. There was a thing that said he was pressured 30 times. Now, I don't know if that was pressured on all 31 of his passes, but dude, what quarterbacks... And the other 2 playoff losses for the Chargers and Justin Herbert, those critiques are really fair, in my opinion.
Sure.
This one, with Greg Roman as your OC, a man I defended Greg Roman with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. He's a terrible choice for a Justin Herbert offense.
There you go. He finally came around. That's it.
Then Todd Monken to the fucking Chargers, and let's see him operate with a quarterback like Herbert for a year.
That's it.
Anyway,
I feel Mike McDaniel to the Chargers. Don't send him to the Lions. Yes, JG. I streamed all 3 games, and there was only 10 minutes in between the first and second game, so that's why I couldn't do the reaction. So the other 2 are out. I'm going to put out the Jaguars-Bills one.
Tom, where's my reaction?
Where's my reaction, Tom? You only streamed 3 games and put out 4 videos yesterday. That's it. No, I don't think so. Hundley, he was either going to be good at football or chew bubblegum. And he had plenty of bubblegum. So, yeah, no, I don't think he retires early, though. No, definitely not. I don't think he leaves early either.
God damn it, dude. God damn it.
Here you go. What's worse, the Justin Herbert critiques or folks going, yeah, some of that loss for the Packers is on Jordan Love? Because I got some of those too. Mr. Threw 4 touchdowns, man.
The Jordan Love ones are more humorous to me.
Sure they are.
Like, to see a quarterback who's thrown 4 touchdowns in a game and to be like, I think that might be the problem. Like, that's funnier to me. Herbert was not good last night.
Yeah. Thanks for McManus.
Now that's really funny to me. McManus on the Broncos Super Bowl run, perfect. In the postseason.
I never want to see that man ever again. Ever again.
McManus was so bad for winners and losers. I've got an award for former Broncos kickers in the playoffs because Matt Prater was pretty good for the Bills.
Yeah, he was. You know what? I would have liked Matt Prater on Saturday night. That would have been something. Yeah, let's go through these games. Starting off with the Rams-Panthers game. You and I spoke about this, about potential blowout, right? Like, all right, is there going to be some maybe lopsided games this weekend? Yeah. And that was the game of like, maybe, right? Because on paper, the Rams are the better team, but then the Panthers got healthier since the last time that they played, and the Panthers beat them before. They jump out to a 14-0 lead. Matthew Stafford doesn't throw an incompletion. It's all to Puka Nacua. He has like 2 touchdowns early in that game. And it looks like it is going to be a very lopsided affair.
Yeah.
But, dude, Panthers defense starts locking down. And Bryce Young, man, he has that scamper for a touchdown. This was a really fun game. This was a really, really fun game. And I know that, moral losses and all that great stuff, or moral victories, I should say, moral
the Packers
losses.
had a moral loss.
It was, that was the moral of the story. But yeah, for moral victories, I mean, like this boded pretty well, I think, for the Panthers, for them to be able to claw back into that, pun intended, and go toe-to-toe with the Rams. Yeah, this is a fun one, man. This is a lot of fun. They took the lead at the very end.
Yeah, there's this should have been a blowout by the Rams. And if you're a Rams fan, that's probably what you're a little worried about.
Sure.
You jump out to that lead, and then their offense went ice cold for 2 quarters. But when they needed it, Stafford delivered, right? And I think the soundbite that Devontae Adams has going around right now about what did Stafford say? Like, let's go down and snatch these guys' souls or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like just something so cold, and then he does it. But I think like it is a moral victory for the Panthers, and you can be proud of having a moral victory because nobody thought you belonged in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And nobody from the NFC South truly belonged in the playoffs, if we're just being honest about, winning records and what types of teams deserve there. He certainly didn't deserve to host a playoff game. All that said, when you were there, you delivered. And you delivered against a very good football team, against a future Hall of Fame quarterback, probably a future Hall of Fame head coach. And I don't think momentum carries from one season to another, but if you were ever going to make a case for that, it would be here. And Jalen Coker, what a coming out party for Cokeheads. Like he was a monster. And it's like the Panthers, it's like, okay, we do have something to build on. We just need to get some more pieces on our football team. And
offensive line help.
Yeah, offensive
they were dropping
line
like
help.
flies too.
I think like you've seen Bryce Young's physical limitations at the position. That's kind of what stood out to me. It's like when you watch a quarterback with elite arm talent scramble and they're really dangerous, Bryce Young's not that guy. Like he cannot make every throw. He cannot make it from every angle. And I saw that several times in this game. Outside of that, though, he's a solid quarterback, and you can win with Bryce Young. You just have to know that about him, and you got to kind of construct your team around that.
I mean, you saw, not to go back to more deflating Packers losses, but earlier in this season, I mean, they were running so well with Rico, right? Like for those past few weeks, and it was like, okay, Bryce, just like make these throws, and like you just said, if you build that support around him, you could have a winning football team, especially when the defense is playing really well. Yeah. Right? Because the last time that they were able to beat the Rams, they forced 3 turnovers, right? And Bryce Young had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, right? And they ran the ball effectively. So like you have a winning formula that is there. And I don't think Bryce Young, because I think it's his contract year coming up, right?
Yeah, it's 5th year.
Yeah, so they'll let him play out on that contract. And it's kind of like, all right, like see what you get. And then he'll kind of like land in if he plays well, he'll land in that like, $45-ish million like the area. And like I said, if you feel pretty confident, I like Canales over there. I think that they got some pieces.
Yeah, I think it's about patience.
Agreed, that's me. That's what I've heard.
And I think Bryce Young, he's a quarterback. I think like from a protected pocket, he can make every throw. Just moving, scrambling, he can't. But he can make plays with his legs too. Like his, you mentioned his rushing touchdown. He's got some of that. And I'm not like trying to knock on Bryce Young. I see what his limitations are. And if you're the Panthers, you've got to accept that and build around that, or you've got to figure out a better plan. And there's not going to be a lot of options. There are typically not a lot of options at quarterback that are going to be truly better than Bryce Young. But Rico Dowdle even voiced a little bit of frustration, I think, in his post game, talking about his lack of carries after his,
barely got the ball.
Yeah.
I will say though, his nickname is one of my favorite in the NFL, the Slim Reaper. It makes me very happy for Bryce Young.
They call Bryce Young the Slim Reaper?
Yeah.
That's Devontae Smith's nickname too.
Well,
we need a Slim Reaper off.
That's it. They're both on the couch right now, so
yeah, Slim Reapers they're sleeping. Kevin Durant's the Slim Reaper. Oh God, get KD on the field too.
Listen, everyone, can only be one. 3 Slim Reapers enter. 1 Slim Reaper leaves. Yeah, you mentioned Matthew Stafford. It was reported today he has a sprained index finger on his throwing hand, but he is still going to be good to go for the game against the Bears. And I do wonder, and I think a lot of Rams fans are wondering too, is this okay? The Panthers just have the Rams number, right? And they're just playing them really tough.
Yeah.
Or is this more reason for concern? You saw this in the Falcons game where the Rams didn't look very good. They go down 21-0. They're able to battle the way back, but they lose that game. Of course, they collapse in Seattle. And I really wanted to see that Seattle divisional round. Still could potentially get it for the NFC Championship game. But now they're going outside. They're playing in the cold in Chicago. And while there is a defense that they can definitely exploit, and I do feel like they can put up some points, who knows, man? Stafford is a little bit of a different player outdoors in the cold. So it's going to be an interesting game. How are you feeling about the Oh, the Carolina Reaper.
Carolina Reaper,
that makes a lot more sense.
Like the pepper, right?
We'll call him the Slim Reaper on Saturday, though.
It happens. There's too many things to remember.
Carolina Reaper, 20 out of 10. That's my mistake. Yeah. So, like, are you concerned with the Rams after this game? Going up against the Bears?
I think the Rams have looked a little flawed down the stretch in general. They're still good, and it's hard to bet against teams when they have a quarterback you can rely on, like Stafford, right? Like, as a Broncos fan, that's why I don't want to play the Bills necessarily, because, like, who the fuck really wants to play Josh Allen? Nobody. No smart football fans like, yeah, give me Josh Allen in a playoff game.
Sure.
Except for probably Chiefs fans, but, they're arrogant, so whatever. But, the Falcons beat them. The Seahawks beat them down the stretch. Even that Lions game was a 41-34 victory. And last year we saw the Rams defense really come alive late in the season. I think the Rams are lacking, elite talent in their secondary. I think that's becoming a little more apparent right now.
Sure.
So the Rams, they look beatable. That doesn't mean they won't win. It doesn't mean they can't outscore anybody with Puka, with Devontae, Corum and Kyron Williams. Like, they can take over games. I thought Carolina did a good job, mostly limiting the rushing attack in terms of it not being like these big breakout runs from the guys. So yeah, they're a hard offense to defend, but I think their defense is a little bit flawed right now.
Yeah, I agree with that. And they're going up against an offense that can put up points. They put up 25 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I did want to play this. We'll get Garrett on as a guest. I was talking to Garrett this morning, and when he popped in, he was like, "Ooh, I'm on the GPS background," and I was like, "Garrett Perna Show."
That's it.
And I was like, "Let me screen cap this and make a joke." And I was like, "You know what? Let me just take the joke one more step further and pretend like Garrett is Tom."
I came down here and was like, "Okay."
Yeah. We'll get Garrett on to talk football for sure. Did you see this clip here?
I saw it this morning. Yeah.
Now, I saw this. I was like, "This is amazing. I love this."
How you doing today? Lynn Jones, Jacksonville Free Press News. I just want to tell you congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank
you. Hold your head up.
Can you not hear it?
Very low.
Season.
Is it low? Let's see here.
Very low.
Okay, let me rip it like a gentleman.
Rip it real good.
I'll rip it and I'll bring it back in.
I hope the furnace gets better. That's no joke. Okay, not good when the furnace goes down. As we wait for that, yeah, we can talk about the Packers game. That I honestly, I mentioned this to Perna before the show started. I'm trying to go into the Rolodex of Packers trauma, specifically in the playoffs. And seeing where this ranks as some of the worst losses. And I think there's a few things, right? One, it's against the Bears, right? That's always going to be an extra sting. Two, this almost exact thing happened, little over 3 weeks ago, in which they choked away the lead at the end, the onside kick, the whole 9 yards, and the Bears were able to win, right? So just repeat performance. Three, the fact that they were up 21-3.
Yeah.
All working against me to really just drive home how bad this loss actually was. The things that are kind of preventing it from being like a potential like top one is, one, there have been worse losses because this was just the wild card round, because we've done this before in the NFC Championship game. That. Two, my expectations for this team definitely changed after Micah Parsons went down, and just the way that they were going to be able to go and get to a Super Bowl, they were a lot more limited in their pathway there.
Yeah.
It was going to have to be their offense. Their offense was going to have to be clicking. The defense, especially after that Bears game where they choked away that lead, then get after get run over by Derrick Henry. It was like, okay, this defense has obviously taken a hit, and they have just gotten worse and worse. So their expectations were lower. All that being said, good God, man. I mean, you have Matt LaFleur coming out saying that he is embarrassed for anyone associated with the Packers franchise after this one. And what's really interesting, and rightfully so, and what's really interesting, right, is because there's been a vocal crowd of like the fire Matt LaFleur crowd. And then after this loss, I don't blame him, man. I mean, it's tough to sit here and go, yeah, no, I don't know. We're going to see Ed Policy is going to be talking to LaFleur because that is a very weird position that they're in. So right now, LaFleur is heading into his contract year. So he is not going to want to play, without some guarantees, or coach, excuse me. He's not going to want to coach without some guarantees, even though he might be a better kicker at this point, without some guarantees. And Ed Policy has come out and said that they do not want to have a lame duck coach. They don't want him to just have all these distractions of, are you going to re-sign him? But then there's the other element that he is going to be owed a ton of money, because when Matt LaFleur was hired, they were not paying head coaches this kind of money. And now in the Ben Johnson, right, because he's getting paid double digits, he's getting paid what? It's like $15 million or whatever the hell it is. LaFleur's not getting paid that. So I would love if he just plays out his contract. You go win a Super Bowl, you get all the riches in Green Bay. But I don't think that's how they're going to operate. And so it's going to be some really interesting conversations over these next 48 hours.
Sure. It would be surprising to me if they did fire him.
Agreed.
I think he's a good head coach. And I think Packers fans are kind of just dealing with the reality of, and I think they know this, based on having Aaron Rodgers and only getting to the Super Bowl once there. But and Jordan Love is a very good quarterback, but he's not Aaron Rodgers yet in his career. And I think once you get to the postseason, it is so hard to win when you have a younger quarterback and when you're growing. And it, again, Jordan Love played well. This game, you don't have the guy you went all in for in Micah Parsons. You were betrayed by your kicker. There's some correctable things in this game that you can look into next season and go, it should be better. And I think you should trust LaFleur to guide you through that. You've had a lot of success. The Packers are a well-coached team, in my opinion. Things went to shit when you lost Micah. Now, this is probably also a terrible coaching cycle to move on from LaFleur.
Agreed.
Unless you Saleh or Harbaugh at this point.
I don't. This is what I'm telling Packers fans, man. Harbaugh, have you seen what he does in the fourth quarter? And it's been years of this. And to your point, right? Yes, we could sit here and talk about, if they had Micah Parsons, it's different. If they had Devontae Wyatt, it's different. Hell, maybe if they have Zach Tom, because that offensive line wasn't blocking diddly squat in the second half, things could have been different. But the cold hard facts are, you're up 21-3 in this ball game. There is absolutely no reason you should lose this. And that is where you are going to blame coaching. You are going to blame personnel. You're going to blame the kicker. You're going to blame, there's a litany of things just in this game why you should have won. And so I don't want to use the injury excuse, because yes, you're 100% correct. There could have been things different, but with the guys on the field, they once again did not finish. And this happens over and over and over again. And Quay Walker came out and said that this happened before he was there. It's happened while he's there. And you go all the way back to that freaking NFC Championship game against the Seattle Seahawks, which fundamentally changed this franchise, and which it was I will never trust a lead ever again. And since then, this has happened over and over and over again. And this time it was special teams. We've seen that happen before. They had that offense, dude. Josh Jacobs was running real well in that first half. I think they had one run that was over a single yard in the second half.
Yeah.
Offensive line could not block. They didn't do anything in the third quarter. Matthew Golden got his first touchdown. That was really nice late in that game. That should have been it. But at the same time, man, there was things that went the Bears' way, that false start. And instead of the snap going over Caleb Williams' head late in that game, the Packers put the ball on the ground 4 times. Yeah. And they didn't lose a single one of those fumbles. Yeah. So it's just, it's inexcusable. And it's like, all right, well, now what do you do? And I agree with you. Just by virtue of getting healthier, the Packers should be in a better position next year. But there's a familiarity, and there has been this consistent problem where the Packers can't close out games. And it is very difficult to put your finger on why that is.
Sure.
Is that coaching? Yeah. Is that culture? Is that the personnel that you have? Because they asked Matt LaFleur straight up, did you call different? Like, did you change your play calling from the first half to the second half? He goes, nope. They brought more pressure, and the offensive line just couldn't pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Packers just got outplayed in the second half.
Yeah.
But, like, and you can't blame it all on McManus, but when you miss a PAT after that golden touchdown, right? That's 1 point. And that was costly because at the end of the game, Packers need a touchdown versus a field goal.
Yep. 44-yarder.
That's not even counting in the other 2 field goals he missed, right? That's 7 total points.
Yep.
And let's give him a miss on one of those field goals. It's the playoffs. We saw lots of kickers miss, including Cam Little.
The one right before half.
You know, he can miss a
55-yarder.
kick, but you can't miss 2. You can't squander 7 points in the playoffs, specifically against a division rival. I think that's just written in the rule book by the football gods. You miss 2 field goals against a division rival in the playoffs, you're gonna fucking lose. It's without Micah. You guys had a chance to win this game. Also, this is just how the Bears have won games all season too. Like, if you want to deflect blame, and if I were a Packers fan, I would be deflecting blame as like a goddamn shield, just like boom, boom, boom. The Bears just do this. They didn't do it to just the Pack. Now they did it to the Packers twice this year with 10-point, leads. But they've done this so many times. Like, it's how they kind of win games. And there's something about this Bears team with Caleb Williams late where they play their best football, where Caleb is starting to become one of those dudes at quarterback where you're like, dear God, if he has the ball in his hands late, this team has a chance. And it sucks for Packers fans because 2 of his best throws as a pro have come against you guys.
Yeah.
And it was to DJ Moore, and then it was that 4th and 8. Like, those are like career catapulting type like plays from Caleb Williams. And it sucks to be on that end of it.
Sure.
But the Packers, historically, they've been on the right side of those plays with guys like Favre, with guys like Aaron Rodgers.
Sure.
Jordan Love's had some incredible throws. But Caleb's just, dude, like, you're seeing Caleb blossom into the quarterback I think a lot of people thought he could become when he was at USC. And if you want to make an argument against coaching, like Ben Johnson, he fucking wrecked the entire North by going to the Bears. He screwed over the Lions, he screwed over the Packers, and he elevated the Bears and is getting the best play out of Caleb Williams.
Sure.
The Lions, at least the Vikings kind of did it to themselves this year. I don't think he really affected the Vikings. They fucked themselves, but it's crazy. It's been a fun division for somebody who doesn't have like a true rooting interest in the NFC North. That division has been fascinating all year to me as like an outsider.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is too, like the defense, right? I was actually really impressed with the defense up until the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
They didn't allow a single touchdown, and you have the stats up right now. The Bears are a top 3 rushing team in the NFL.
Yeah.
And they held them to under 100 yards. And so like they did the things right, but the offense, man, 3 and out. And they just kept putting the defense back on, and the Bears were having long, sustained drives. And whether that was ending in a turnover or a field goal, dude, they were out there forever. They're completely gassed by the time you get into the 4th quarter, and the Bears put up 25 points.
If you could have one play back in that game, not the kicks, obviously you go, just give me one of those kicks. Like one offensive play that sticks out to you, you're like, man, was there a moment you're like, if we would have made that play, I think this game is different.
The Jaden Reed drop was pretty bad at the end of that game.
Yeah.
Because I think that changes things, and it just hits him right in the hands. Yeah. That one hurt. But yeah, that's offensive. But yeah, I mean, like, dude, like there's just no You mentioned the second game, right? Because this has happened before, but this was also it was like kind of a combination of the first two games that the Packers and Bears had. Because in the first game, the Packers dominated the first half, and it was like, oh, they're going to potentially run away with this. Like, they're playing really well. And then they didn't do anything in the second half, and the Bears clawed their way back. And it came down to the very end, where it's a thrown ball and Keyshawn Nixon intercepts it, and that was the game. But the Bears clawed back in that one too. So it's just, man, they're Rich Bisaccia. You want to talk about LaFleur too? He's also responsible for keeping this coaching personnel. And I don't know how you have been able to justify Rich Bisaccia being on this team. Dan Whelan, our punter, phenomenal season. And so I will give him credit, working with Whelan, because he's become a really good punter. Yep. But you had McManus. They have no return game either in punts or on kickoffs. And it is truly how you pay him the most amount of money. I know he's the assistant head coach too, but he's the highest paid special teams coordinator, and they have not gotten significantly better.
Yeah. Well, dude, like Denver had the same issue with Rizzi this year. The first half of the season, there's a lot of issues with special teams. And I think it's a fair criticism because the kickoff game alone has changed significantly over the last 2 years.
Yes.
I think special teams coordinators are having to adjust on how they defend kickoffs, how they approach their kickoffs. And I think some of the guys who were very good prior to these kickoff rule changes are struggling to adapt, or it's a transition period to kind of figure out and dial in what you really need your guys to do in those situations. And we have seen so many plays change games because of the kickoff. There was what game did the kicker kick it inside the landing zone? Was it Buffalo? One of them didn't. The ball didn't land in the landing zone towards the end of one of these games. I can't remember which fucking game it was now. But it puts the team at the 40-yard line. So it's like that's a whole thing.
It's a legitimate, like special teams. Because what was it? Belichick talked about this years ago and was just like, because they had dedicated players for special teams, right? Like they had gunners that were running down there. They had dedicated, and sometimes that's a pain in the ass because they take up a dedicated roster spot, right? And so look at what the Packers have done. They've attempted to do this, but usually they just throw a wide receiver back there and they're like, all right, or like a corner back there and they're like, Keyshawn Nixon was that returner. And then he didn't want to do it no more. I don't know what Keyshawn Nixon going to be doing this offseason. Probably not on the Packers. But
having Josh Jacobs return a kick for you guys almost blew up in your face.
Got to do something. He's got to see the field somehow in the second half. You know what I mean? But they don't have those dedicated guys. And now special teams has become such an integral part of the game. Oh man, I mean, just those kickoffs alone. If you don't have a guy that can get inside the landing zone, they're starting on the 35. And you and I just spoke about this too. And we're talking about with Johnny. Like that is a huge advantage. If you could look at Cam Little, I know he missed yesterday, and we'll talk about that game in a second. But having a guy, if you only have to go, 25 yards from where you are to kick a field goal, that's a huge advantage, man.
It is. It's a big advantage. And the Bills, after they scored their lead-taking touchdown, they kicked it, and their special teams got a stop, and I think they tackled Jacksonville around like the 22-yard line. So like the Jags had to go a deep distance to have a chance, and like that has been the opposite case for a lot of teams. Like, oh shit, Sam Darnold needs 15 yards to get the Seahawks in field goal range. Yeah, doesn't have any timeouts. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
As buddies, that was your first NFL game as an adult, and your girlfriend's first game. Yeah, that's that's a game to attend. Now, Bears fans, man, do those victory laps. They trust me, they've been doing them. As they should, dude. I mean, because if you're the Bears, they have been on the receiving end of this so often. Where it's Aaron Rodgers, as you mentioned, like pulling something out of the hat. It's Brett Favre pulling something out of the hat. The rivalry's back, man. You saw that Ben Johnson handshake. This rivalry's all the way back. Running away.
I don't know why he was crouched over so low, but
good God.
In his first.
Oh, wow. Is that a pancreas?
In his first game. Let's take a look Game. Let's take a look.
Yeah, the guy took a cheap shot and hit him in the balls.
Game. Let's take a look.
That's what Packers fans feel like today.
It's true. Speaking of a punch of the balls, I know we're skipping ahead because we'll go to the Bills game next. Dude, George Kittle. Oh, I feel so. First of all, at what point is it going to be enough taking everybody from the 49ers? At what point are the injury gods going to be satisfied? Apparently not. Their bloodlust cannot be quenched.
If the Niners win the Super Bowl this year, it is going to be one of the most impressive accomplishments in coaching we've ever seen. Right? I was just talking about the Packers having an excuse because you lost Micah Parsons. But at least you had Micah Parsons for, 12 games?
Yeah, we had him for a good chunk. Yeah.
When did Nick Bosa get hurt? That was pretty early. Nick Bosa, gone. Fred Warner, gone. George Kittle, gone now. Brandon Ayuk just fucking said, I'm not even going to play for you guys.
I'm not going to even be. Yeah, I'm just gone.
I'm not playing receiver at all this year. No.
Radical, yeah. You got to get Bisaccia out of there at the very, very least.
It sucks because when you guys get rid of Bisaccia, he's going to go somewhere else and be really good again.
Of course he is. Of course he is. But yeah, we'll see what Ed Policy decides, man. Because I didn't think they would, and I do think consistency is important, and I do think they'll be better just because of getting folks back. But it's going to be a long offseason.
I've decided on an official no Bisaccia policy.
Yeah,
Ed policy.
That's it.
All right, I got the clip before we talk. Yeah, here it is. This will segue us right into Jags-Bills.
How you doing today? Lynn Jones, Jacksonville Free Press News. I just want to tell you congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank you.
You hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank you.
And you did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am.
What a refreshing soundbite.
It's so funny because like the beginning of that, Liam Cohen is kind of just like, just like the usual, like everything that every coach does of just like, just get through your question. But then there's like just genuine sincerity there. And you see him start to crack and he's like, all right, thank you. Like,
thank you.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, because I love it because I think it showcases what Liam Cohen has meant to the Jacksonville Jaguars this season. Okay. Yes, they lost this game and that sucks. Right. And they were one of the best teams in the second half of this season. And that is all because of their head coach. And when you lose in the wild card round, it's tough. But I think
it's true. If
you're looking at the organization, what this season has meant to that fan base, it was a big win for the Jaguars. And I think based on what Cohen has done, the message there is true. Like they should be optimistic moving forward. They have a very good team, both on offense and defense and special teams. And there's a bunch of, I'm just like, this is going to be celebrated unanimously. But then it had to be ruined. Not by football fans, but by other fucking reporters out there. This pissed off reporters who are like, you know what? It's not your job to compliment the team after a game like this. You need to be professional. Technically, that was not a question. That's fair. There wasn't a question. Yeah. There was no question there. But like, dear God, can we I agree. This is not something you want to see after every game for every team. You don't need a reporter going, yay, I know you guys lost, but here's a pat on the back. But I think at the end of the season like this, it was a nice thing to hear. And I liked it. And I was just surprised to be on Twitter and be like, oh God, there's a bunch of reporters saying this person's not professional. And this is not what the press conferences are designed for. Okay.
I mean, I've heard some dumbass questions from those reporters and going like, why? How you feeling now after that loss?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a much better question.
Yeah, exactly. What do we actually glean from these fucking forced press conferences after every game, after multiple, coaches and players? Like
it's just coach speak. It's
you get one or two sound bites per week, and that's from 32 NFL teams, right? Like it's people taking that portion of the job a little too seriously.
And
Anyway,
again, like I think that, right, if you have credentials, like there is like that separation between like, okay, I got to put my fandom away and, like be like, buttoned up and like professional and stuff. But yeah, I mean, listen, how often do you see that? You don't. And
no, it's awesome.
Who cares, man?
Fucking awesome.
Who care? And you know what? It seemed to make Liam Cohen smile a little bit. You know what? Why not?
Hey, it was their season was a success. Jacksonville's season was a massive success.
Held together, Warhorse.
Yeah.
But again, it's just, unfortunately, I've seen this film before.
And
I mean, dude, look at that box score. It's identical, except the Bills scored 3 points in the freaking first quarter.
Yeah. It's, and the interesting thing about this game, the Bills won, but I thought Jacksonville outplayed them physically. I thought the Jaguars kind of physically dominated this game. Josh Allen got the piss beat out of him. He was checked for a concussion. He hit his hand on a helmet, had his leg rolled up on. And he went into this game with like a foot issue already. And he looked a little slower when he was trying to make plays with his legs. And this is not the best version of the Bills, but they stole a victory here. And I don't know, man. Like,
dude, that tush push where they just literally picked Josh Allen up and they're just like, come with me, buddy. We'll take it to the end zone.
Yeah. One of the most insane QB sneaks you'll see. When they needed a play, he made it. And what really surprised me is Buffalo won this game and they had just 46 rushing yards from James Cook, dude. But
that doesn't surprise me.
Brandon Cook had a more impactful game than James.
Yes. But they're going up against the number one run defense, right? And that's why I picked the Jaguars to win this game. Because I said, you're taking away, that balanced offense. And they did. They did a great job limiting what James Cook could do, averaging just over 3 yards a carry. And it was just the turnovers made a difference, right? Yes. Obviously, at the very end, that last interception, that's not on Trevor Lawrence. It just goes off Jacoby Meyer's hands, right? The guy who is usually who has been great for them.
Trey White, I thought, did a tremendous job getting his hand in there. I thought it was just a stellar defensive play from Tre'Davious White. You don't want to blame Lawrence for that because it was a good throw and very tight coverage.
Sure.
But then you're like, that may be too tight a coverage to throw into. But you're right, Tom. If you would have said Jacksonville's going to hold James Cook to 46 rushing yards and Josh Allen is not going to have more rushing yards than James Cook, you always got to have that caveat in there. I'd be like, oh yeah, Jags are winning.
Yep.
But it was the 2 interceptions by Trevor Lawrence that were a big deal. And it was the missed field goal from Cam Little.
Yep.
A 54-yarder.
That was such a weird sequence too, because you had them trying to spike. It did not look like they got that ball off.
No,
and
they
then it was
didn't.
It was the offsides call. And then I was like, oh, I don't like this. So I actually was okay with the Jaguars missing that because I was like, this is a good game. I do not want to be talking about the officials after this. So it's okay, no harm, no foul. Let's move on to the second half. And it was a great game of football.
It was an incredible ball don't lie moment. And even before that, they took the Brandon Cooks reception away. That was, I would say, also controversial. I think maybe you can call it either way. But when we've seen Travis Kelce be rewarded a catch in a much more egregious situation, that was a tough one. But yeah, that was an odd series. I'm glad the kick didn't go in because this game probably goes into overtime, right? And who knows what happens.
Sure. Yeah. Ox, I mean, again, I don't know how else. I've said it so many times, but this is like I told you on Saturday. This is just they don't want a lame duck coach. And so now they're going to see if they're going to come to an agreement because he's in a contract year. Yeah. The Packers are not an organization that just fires coaches. Did you see how long they kept Dom Capers? Do you see how long they're keeping Rich Bisaccia? This is just, they don't make these snap decisions. That's why it was such a shock when they fired McCarthy after that Cardinals loss. But I mean, we're one team that the Josh Rosen started and actually beat. So they're like, okay, that's enough for those last couple games. But yeah, the Packers just ain't that organization, man. I'm just calling how I see it. Sure, AJ. But yeah, Jaguars, tough ass season, man. They had a really good year. Trevor Lawrence was like a monster down the stretch. And I feel really confident in them going forward.
Yeah.
We'll see what the Texans do, because the Texans are a team that I think that they could get better too. Like, they get Tank Dell back. That offense is already going to be better, and they already finished top 15, I think, in passing. So yeah, it's going to be fun there in the AFC South, but
that's going to be a tough
for
division.
Duval.
That's going to be a tough division.
But the thing that I want to ask you real quick too is because now it's confirmed. You're playing the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
And I agree with you that this is not even the best version of the Bills that we've seen in the last few years go into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen, man, like, he is Keon Coleman actually made a big catch in this game, right? We haven't seen him make a catch in God knows how long. Yeah. So, I mean, how are you feeling about this? I know you didn't want to play the Chargers because I think they matched up really well with Denver.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling against the Bills?
Yeah. I think like Patriots fans, like, you didn't want to play the Chargers.
Yeah.
And I would say, yes, you saw that defense. You saw what the Chargers defense does. It's been a nightmare for the Broncos offense. The Chargers defense and what they did to the Patriots offense last night made me feel a little vindicated for how Denver has kind of struggled against LA. Knowing how hot Drake Maye has been this season. And they made Drake Maye look human for the first half of that game. He made a couple big throws, but overall, like, they did a good job against the Patriots offense. Out of all of the quarterbacks in the AFC, the one I do not want to play is Josh Allen. Okay. He is hard to defend on multiple levels. I think guys who can extend the plays the way Josh Allen does has been a little tricky for the Broncos defense this year. Denver's had some matchup problems with tight ends. Buffalo has 2 of them. But I mean, I really like. We'll see how tonight goes, but I want to play the Steelers. That'd be my dream scenario. But like I said, like, I don't want to play any team in the AFC. Like, they all. I just
want to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but like, Josh Allen's the quarterback I want to play the least. Like, I'd rather play against Drake Maye. And that's no offense to Drake Maye, who I think has been incredible this year. I think he's going to have a long, great NFL career. But a young quarterback in the playoffs versus Josh Allen, who's been there so many times,
sure,
I'll take that matchup. That said, the team that scared me the most would have been Jacksonville. So they're gone. Thank you. I don't want to cover Parker Washington. The Bills struggled covering Parker. He's going to be, I think he's going to have a breakout season next year. I think Jags fans say he's having it this year, but like, I think he's going to be a big player. So yeah, I'm not going to be cocky and say I want any of these teams, because the Broncos, the way they have won this year, they have not dominated anyone except for the Cowboys and the Bengals without Joe Burrow. Like, it's going to come down to the fourth quarter in that game. And I'm just going to pray that the Broncos finish it off like they've done so many times. The one thing I like about Buffalo is they're banged up. That was a physical game.
Yeah.
Their defense a little banged up. Josh Allen's not 100%. James Cook didn't look 100% either. He kind of rolled his ankle. But like, that's like my only thing with the Bills. They got to come into Denver. They're not 100%, and they got to play on Saturday coming off a Sunday game. Those are our advantages. Will it matter? Who the fuck knows? But
it should be a fun game, though.
It's going to break my heart to send the Bills home if the Broncos do it.
Elliot, very sorry for your loss, my friend. Hey, listen. Yeah, Bears. Like I said, man, like, this has been a season, and I know we're about to talk about the Eagles and the 49ers, but I think the Bears playing Matthew Stafford out in the cold is definitely not a foregone conclusion that the Rams win that football game.
No,
it is not.
No.
So who knows, man? I mean, this could literally be my living nightmare, and we see the Bears in the NFC Championship game, and that would be,
I think
that'd be tough.
Of all the teams remaining, I think the Bills versus Bears would be like the most electric Super Bowl in terms of like hype and fan bases and viewership. A Bears-Bills Super Bowl would be pretty insane. As would a Broncos-Bears Super Bowl. Like Caleb Williams versus Bo Nix, each in their sophomore season. 2 teams who just like shit the bed for 3 quarters and then get it together in the fourth. Like, let's Let's see it, baby.
You like football?
Yeah, I do.
We do too.
Mm.
I do too. Oh, good. Blessing the Bears and cursing the Packers. Excellent. That's Brandon Perna.
Wow. There we go. Got a Bears blessing.
I also just love, I'm sure Perna doesn't remember. 2 years ago? Yeah, buddy. If it was 2 weeks ago, Brandon's like, I don't know if I did that.
Yeah. Who was I that week?
Yeah, exactly. Junior, it's just a little improvement bit by bit. This game, oh man, I feel like Eagles fans are in two camps. One, they're infuriated, obviously, because they lost this football game and it's against the 49ers and their defense played incredibly well for 3 quarters. I know that life. And then, they get to potentially fire Kevin Patullo. If they don't fire that man, oh boy, it is. Yeah. But you saw it all year, right? This is who the Eagles have been all year. And Saquon had a really good game. Here's where I was totally off base. I was like, if the 49ers are going to win, it's got to be CMC, man. And he was very good in the receiving game, right? He made a huge difference in that game, the trick play. He also got another touchdown. He had 2 grabs. But they really stopped CMC. They had the 22nd ranked run defense heading into this game, and CMC was a non-factor on the ground. And so the fact that this came down after Purdy also had the turnovers too, dude, this is an infuriating loss for Philadelphia, because with that defense, man, there's no reason that they shouldn't have won this game.
Yeah, I thought, just like that James Cook stat, if you would have said Saquon has over 100 yards, I'm like, yeah, the Eagles probably win that game. Didn't get enough out of Jalen Hurts. A lot of people are pointing to that A.J. Brown drop.
Yep.
He had no receptions in the second half. But that A.J. Brown drop is forgiven because Dallas Goedert, I believe, converted on the next play. Somebody converted on the next play.
Yeah, Goddard was solid.
It didn't matter ultimately there.
Yep.
Yes, they limited Christian McCaffrey in terms of his effectiveness as a rusher.
Yes.
But I thought Christian McCaffrey was the most important player after George Kittle went down. Like, his 2 receiving touchdowns were the difference in this game. The Juwan Jennings throw and McCaffrey's adjustment, just pretty incredible.
Yep.
Back. And Demarcus Robinson starting that game fast for the 49ers.
Yeah.
There was a 61-yard play there. And then he scored the touchdown. So the Niners, they find ways to just get plays from guys. Even Kyle Juszczyk, it felt like every play Juszczyk made was important for the Niners offense, kept them going, kept them alive, and they get that last touchdown to take the lead, and it's their defense that, stops Philly.
Yeah.
Am I surprised that the Eagles offense struggled? No. Am I surprised they didn't have more success against this version of the 49ers defense? Yes. And it's just because we've seen the Niners defense kind of let them down. And not because they're a bad defense. It's just and we've said it every week, and I'm sure it doesn't even matter at this point. They've been without their 2 best players on defense. And I don't care what defense you are. That's tough, dude. It's fucking tough. And kind of like the Rams, the Niners don't have an elite secondary. They have good players back there, but, you can win. You can score. They kind of shut down Philly.
And again, you give the 49ers a ton of credit. And the way that game started, I was like, is this going to be an offensive shootout? Right? Because the 49ers march down the field, they get a touchdown. Then the Eagles march down the field. They miss the extra point, right? So, they wind up losing by 4. So we had a lot of missed kicks. But yeah, that, holy cow. That was, and then it was just a rough game for until the 4th quarter. And just at that point, the defense is exhausted, and Purdy's able to make things happen. And yeah, that Juwan Jennings touchdown was crazy. He got lit up too. Holy cow, did Juwan Jennings get hit?
Yeah, he's tough. He's an underrated player.
Used to play QB.
I know. I saw the thing about him being a 4-star recruit ranked ahead of Joe Burrow and Sam Darnold coming out of high school is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But you're right. So it's what? Jake Elliott misses a PAT. Eddie Pinheiro missed a PAT later in that game. McManus missed. Cam Little missed. You saw A.J. Brown with a terrible drop. Jaden Reed had a drop. Keenan Allen had a terrible drop. There were a lot of reliable receivers who dropped passes this whole weekend. There were kickers who missed, I think, disproportionately from any other playoff round. There was a lot of those little weird things that I think added to making a bunch of these games really entertaining and fun.
Yeah. Can you just pull up the Patriots and Chargers game real quick? One of the things you were mentioning, Justin Herbert being the leading rusher for the Chargers. Yeah. Drake Maye, dude, on his scrambles made a huge difference in that ball game because he was there. He was their leading rusher as well, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep. The two leading rushers, Herbert, Maye.
True, damn. Yeah, look at that, 66 yards. It both have 10 carries. But there was a point, and it was before the touchdown, where even though the Patriots were making mistakes, and they were turning the ball over, it was very clear that they were able to move the ball more effectively than the Chargers were last night.
Yeah, here's the difference, okay? Drake Maye, 10 carries. Justin Herbert, 10 carries. That's kind of a product of you got a young QB who can be mobile. Those are not designed runs. It's just your quarterback taking what's there.
Yeah.
19 carries between Ramondre and Travion Henderson. Yeah. And Ramondre Stevenson had one really big run. I think it kind of affects that 5.3, but they at least committed to consistently running the ball.
Yeah.
12 carries between Vidal and Amarian Hampton. And I think Hampton's ankle a little messed up still. But this 11 carries with that offensive line, and it's unforgivable. If you want to blame somebody for the Chargers, you put that on Harbaugh and Greg Roman having a terrible game plan for a clear weakness. It's not like they went into this game going, you know what? We can throw the ball 30 plus times and win. Your line sucks because it's hurt. Yep. And even if it was healthy, there's still the interior of that line was a problem.
Correct.
Yeah. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to run the ball you're not going to have 150 rushing yards in this game from your running backs, but at least make the fucking defense think you're going to run sometimes. I think Greg Roman's he's got to go in terms of coaches.
And here you are, buddy.
I've come full circle. Kevin. But I thought I think Greg Roman is better suited for a quarterback like Lamar Jackson.
I wasn't really doing much there either. So, I mean,
no, they had success together, but
then they stopped running the ball.
In the postseason,
they stopped running the ball.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And the Ravens
wear a
still...
diaper.
Rah, 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 rah.
Wear a diaper.
Rah, 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 rah.
Wear a diaper.
Rah, 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 rah.
Wear a diaper.
But anyway,
special teams garbage. Yeah, but again, right? It's because Vidal has played, and again, you're going up against a good defense, but Vidal has done well, and I know Hampton's banged up, but I agree, you have to have something there when your quarterback is getting sacked 6 times. And dude, they were able to get after Drake Maye too. They sacked him 5 times.
Yeah.
So it was.
And Drake Maye made more plays than Justin Herbert. It came down to Drake Maye basically 3 or 4 more throws than Herbert in this game. Big throws, and that was a difference.
Yeah.
Under similar circumstances, Drake Maye outplayed Justin Herbert. But also, Drake May's coaching staff is better right now. Except for the Chargers Minter, I hope he's gone. He's a very good defensive coordinator. The Chargers defense is good. Get rid of that fuck. I don't want him in the AFC West at all.
The one thing I do want to bring up, and we didn't talk about this, because now when we got on this topic of running the football, there is a thing that I will criticize the Jaguars for. They did not run the football enough. They did not give it to their halfbacks enough. They got 154 yards. Travis Etienne was averaging 6.7 yards a carry, had 10 carries. Tootin, 4 carries, 51 yards, averaging 12.8. They gave him 14 carries against a run defense that is one of the worst in the NFL. that was a little confusing with the game plan.
Sure.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, their first touchdown drive was great run after great run. And then they just kind of got away from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Or Steven Stefanski. But yeah, no, I don't know. There was a couple that I know that didn't do well, but yeah, I just feel like that has to be worked into the game plan a little bit more, because that's a weakness, right? Like the Bills run. This is why I thought the Jaguars could win this game.
Yeah. It's so funny too, because it's like I think it's the difference between having an offensive-minded head coach versus a defensive-minded head coach, where it's a little bit harder for offensive play callers who are head coaches to really stay committed to the run. Like Liam Cohen. He's been so good this year.
Sure.
He's remembered to run the ball pretty regularly. But I feel like Sean Payton has the same problem when the run game is working. Like these guys, they're so smart. Their passing games are so complex. They know that they can have success in the passing game with mismatches, and I think that's what drives them. But if it's a defensive guy and your running backs gashing 4 or 5 yards every kid, they have no problem handing it off 30 plus times.
No, they don't care. They're just like, here you go.
When you need them to out scheme the opponent with an offense, they can't do it. And so it's like that's your little bit of a trade-off there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Real quick, just you have to pee.
I'm good.
Okay. But so I do want to preview real quick this game tonight. So it's the last of the wild card matchups, and we only had one game that was more than a 1-score game, right? So do you see the Steelers getting some magic? Because I think because obviously you're hosting the Bills, right? Yeah. If you are the Patriots, you're praying the Steelers win this game. Because if there's one thing, that Texans D-line, oh my God, I am terrified for Drake Maye, because that Texas pass rush is going to get after him. And I feel like being played outside, Aaron Rodgers, we'll see what happens. There's room for magic there. They get DK back, but that is going to be a struggle going up against that Texans defense. Where do you see the Steelers having a chance here?
They got to run. They've played their best football on offense when Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren are the driving force behind their offense. The X factor, they get DK Metcalf back, so that's nice for Aaron Rodgers. The Texans are hard to run against, but they're equally hard to throw against. There are 4 corners in the NFL, if I'm a receiver, I don't want to play against: Christian Gonzalez, Pat Surtain, Quinion Mitchell, and Kamari Lassiter for the Texans. So, like, I think the Steelers, they got to control the game. They got to have long drives, and you got to convert first downs. They need to remember their running backs. I don't think the Steelers are going to win. As a football fan, I want to watch the Texans play the Patriots in terms of matchup. To me, that's a more equal matchup.
Agreed.
As a
they can't come to
a legacy fan, I want Rodgers to win a playoff game. I want Aaron Rodgers. I want him to win. I do. When he's out there, like, I don't know, just having fun and slinging it, I enjoy watching Aaron Rodgers play football so much.
Dude, but Stingley. I don't know if you mentioned him. But Stingley, dude,
Stingley's great too.
It's just, it's going to be a tough time. And right now, I got the Texans in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think the Texans are going to win.
I got the Texans. I got them. I think they can go all the way, because I think they match up very well against the Patriots. Though that being said, Milton Williams, I think that Patriots defense, I think they're going to be able to stop the Texans offense. So there'll be some good back and forth there. But yeah, man, it's no joke. It is no joke. They play outside. They can play indoors. So I think it's going to be an interesting game. I could see this being a slog, though, and see it very similar to what we saw last night.
Yeah. No, I can see the Texans beating the yellow right out of those Steelers uniforms.
Right there.
I think it'll be a good game, though, because the Texans have struggled to run the ball.
Yes.
And CJ Stroud has been solid this year, but not perfect. Like, he's a guy you can pressure. He's a guy you can get off his game. You know what I mean? I don't know if the Steelers defense can do it, but you can get CJ Stroud off his game. I do want to watch the Texans and Patriots play each other. I just think that's going to be a really fun matchup. But and I want the Patriots to have to go through the most difficult path.
Sure.
To get to the Super Bowl. As a Broncos fan, I do not want to play the Texans, so I hope the Steelers win, then I hope the Steelers upset the Patriots, and if the Broncos can beat the Bills, the Broncos host the Steelers in the playoffs. I want that.
I'm shocked. How you want that.
That's what I want. But
I mean, dude, I think if the Bills don't win, like, I think even if you have the Broncos Patriots, I think that's a great game. Yeah. I think if you have Broncos Texans, I think that's a really good game because it was a close game the last time you guys played, and they had Davis Mills.
Yeah, the Steelers are the last fringe team kind of available, or that are, still alive at the moment. So we'll see if they survive. But
yeah, he needs a wide receiver. You are not wrong.
Yeah.
Not wrong at all. Parna, what do you got coming out today?
We should have winners and losers up tonight at some point after the game.
Okay, there you go. I will have the Bills Jaguars reaction coming out in a couple hours. That's the only one I didn't get to yesterday because there wasn't enough time between the games. We'll be streaming the last of the wild card round tonight. And then after that game's over, give me like 20 minutes, and then I'll put out every NFL fan's reaction to the wild card round. And then we'll probably do Texans, Steelers reaction tomorrow morning with power rankings. And I'll see if I get scripted done then too.
Nice.
So yeah, did you hear about this? This is the first time I heard about this all season, that there's a conspiracy going around that the reason why the 49ers are so injured is because they practiced near that electrical substation.
Yeah, I did see that.
I have not heard. I somehow have missed it all season.
Yeah, somebody posted about it on our Twitter. But yeah. And it got one of the players referenced it after the game.
Meteor. Hey,
yeah.
Listen.
Something about it damaging soft tissue or something.
Yeah.
I forget what the fuck it was, dude. I like it. Honestly, if I was the Niners, I would move my practice facility.
I'm moving. I mean, like, you know what? I don't think this is it.
At this rate, yeah.
This point.
It
Lord,
can't be the violent game
that
they play.
Drive.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And Kittle, right? He tears his Achilles last night. Is it confirmed an Achilles tear? He was playing through an injury. How many times do we see that when it's an Achilles or something? Like Daniel Jones playing through an injury, a leg injury. Guys play through injuries to be on the field for their team, and then it leads to other injuries. That couldn't be a more logical thing behind it.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks for Kittle, man, because they get Trent Williams back, right? And like, I wanted to see a Rams-Seahawks rematch, and I thought the Bears-Eagles would be also a good game, based off of how they played last time.
Yeah,
probably. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's gonna be a tough game to win in Seattle after they just got their ass handed to them, and they don't have George Kittle either. That's a tough one.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
Lean on Tunges though.
Tunges.
We'll see. Hey, we'll see if Kyle Shanahan wants to complete his Coach of the Year run for me.
Yep. He
goes in with answers to Seattle's defense that he didn't have last time.
That's fair. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think the Bills Broncos is going to be a really good game. I think that could potentially be one of the games of the weekend.
I hope so.
I hope it lives up to this wild card round, man. It really was. And to finally answer this question, as we are an hour 13 deep in this, do you think it is the best wild card round ever? Personally.
So far, yes.
I think so.
We've got one game left.
Yes.
As long as this game tonight is good, then it is the best I can remember.
Yeah.
But honestly, the only game I remember from last year's wild card is the Bills beating the piss out of the Broncos. So that ruined it for me. Last year sucked.
I remember the Eagles beating the Packers. So, that was
yeah.
Loveland, dude. Yeah, he was a game changer in that. Best tight end left in the playoffs. I mean,
you need that overdrafted tight end.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, how those takes age.
Oh my
How
God.
they do. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think because everything was so competitive. And if tonight's a competitive game, yeah, I think it's in there. Because usually there's just like 1 or 2 good games, and you're like, okay, especially out of the 6. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. Extend Sirianni. Well, get rid of Kevin Patullo. So, that's it. Well, folks, we appreciate the hell out of you. I will see you later tonight. Perna's got winners and losers coming on out. That's true. But appreciate Eagles fans. If he doesn't get fired today, oh yeah, it's gonna be a time. So
we are enemies for 1 week, Bills fans.
We'll see. Hey, Justin. Now you potentially get to take them on for the whole game if they're able to knock out the Steelers and the Patriots. So, well, folks, thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS, and you have been navigated. Anything for CMC.
I need to reach your destination.